When you're using your DSLR to record video, it's very important that you set the right shutter speed, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. To get the right shutter speeds in your video, the rule is whatever frame rate you're using to record your video, your shutter speed should be double that number. For example, if you're shooting a video at 24 frames per second, your shutter speed should be 1/50th of a second. Likewise, if you're shooting a video at 30 frames per second, your shutter speed should be 1/60th of a second, and so on. On this camera that I'm using, to change the shutter speed is a simple roll of the dial on the back of the camera. Now here on this camera that I have on screen, I'm going to set it to 30 frames per second, and then you know that our shutter speed should be double our frame rate. So let's go and change that to 30 frames. See, it says 30 right there, 30 right here. And then I'm going to change the shutter speed right here by rolling the dial right here until it's 1/60th of a second. There we go. Let's do one more example by going to 60 frames per second. See, it says 60 right there. And then we're going to make our shutter 2 times that, which is 1/120th of a second. But this camera doesn't do 1/120th, so 1/125th is good enough. That's perfect. An important thing to keep in mind is that changing your shutter speed in your video will also affect the exposure of your video, and you can find out more information about that in one of my previous videos. I'll link it up here in the YouTube card, and I'll also put it down in the description. Let's say, for example, that you're shooting at 24 frames per second and you need to make your shutter speed faster to cut like more light or something, so you end up at 1/200th of a second or something even faster than that. What will happen is any movement that's in your video will start to look choppy and not as smooth flowing as it naturally should. And that kind of choppy, unnatural movement may make it uncomfortable for someone who's watching your video. Higher shutter speeds do have their place, for example, if you're shooting a fast-paced action scene. However, it's always good to know when and where to apply these small little tweaks to your shutter speeds, as well as to know the look you're going for before you start shooting. Because after you finish shooting and you're reviewing your footage and you realize that your video looks choppy, there's no changing on shutter speed, so remember, it takes a lot of small adjustments to make big differences when you're recording your videos. So let me know in the comments if you've applied this rule before or if you plan to apply it going forward. And also share this video with someone who you think needs this info. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Once again, my name is Cjam, and I will see you guys in the next video.